Andy Powell, and how's it going with you and the touring with Wishbone Ash?
Well, it's the beginning of a new year, and we kicked off this year, as we do most years, with a tour of Europe, which was just completed. And, we went through Belgium, Holland, Germany, Switzerland, and we do that pretty much every year. And that's just in continued support of our most recent album, Elegant Stealth. And that was about 6 weeks on the road. Now we had a 2-day break. We're starting in North America.
So how's it going to concerts and sorting out songs from the big catalog of music you made throughout the years?
Well, yeah, it's tricky because it spans 40 plus years. But on this tour of America, we're actually featuring. We're doing part of our set is featuring a classic album Argus. So we played the entire album live. And then we carry on, and then we feature songs from Elegant Stealth and, a selection from the back catalogue. It's always tricky to select songs from the catalogue because it's big, But we pulled out a few gems on this one, that people haven't heard for a while or ever, in fact, live. Plus, of course, the songs from Elegant Stealth that we didn't play on the last tour. Because that album's been out a while now. We played a certain selection on our last tour, so we're doing some different songs on this tour, like the song Heavy Weather and so forth,
What I find interesting throughout the years, you've been known as, a guitar band, and whatever you do is always greatness, from what I've heard and heard sources of it as well. Let's say Elegant Stealth, it's still great guitar solos. Where you get all your inspirations to keep on doing these great riffs and work, and great tone.
Well, if you got a passion for this business and the music, you really never run out of ideas because you're always learning, and we sort of keep things fresh by listening to different music, and there's always something new happening in the world of guitars. I mean, even though electric guitar has not really moved much further forward in its construction or whatever since the 1950s when they were first designed and used and made. There's still so much to learn, and it's just completely being reinvented every year. And what's really great right now is that to be a guitar band, there's never been a better time. There have been periods when in rock, maybe perhaps guitars taken a bit more of a back seat, maybe in the 80s. But it feels really good to be playing guitar in a band like this, and especially what we have to offer, which is you get two for the price of one. So you've got the twin lead guitar thing going on, and that really gives us another string to our bow, if you like.
Now, the way I discovered, let's say, you guys and, Wishbone Ash is through the Michael Schenker, that when I've interviewed him, saying what would be
Michael
some of your...
was a big fan when he was younger. He used to go to concerts. And I think he even picked up the Flying Z because he'd seen me use one.
Now, that must be something else, a Michael Schenker, a renowned guitar player,
he's a great player. Yeah, I like what he does. I mean, it's a different thing from what we do, but he's right up there, He's a very exciting player, and I'm really honored that to have been at some inspirations. It's great.
Now, for guitar tones, is there any secret that we need to know more than what we know?
Well, I mean, it all starts with the fingers and the heart. The heart and the fingers, really. I mean, if you've got some kind of passion or something to say, then you can pick up pretty much anything and any kind of guitar and make some music with it. As far as enhancing that, then there's a variety of things that we do that are our own little trademarks, our own little. We're always looking for variety in the guitar sounds. We're looking for because we don't really use keyboards. We use a lot of textures. We use effects wherever possible, and we're bringing in acoustic sounds, electric guitar sounds, clean sounds, overdriven sounds, anything that can really enhance the music at that particular time or the song. It's all about really the songs. That's what drives everything, and and you just want to deliver them as make them as interesting for the audience as possible. So, within the course of a set, we're using, like on stage we'll use 12-string guitars or acoustic things. I mean, it's really what's appropriate because we want to keep things stimulated for ourselves as well. But I mean, as far as if you want me to go into guitar effects, gadgets, and things and strings, I mean, there's much to all of that. Much detail. But like we pay a big attention to all of that stuff. Sound's really important to us. There's nothing random about it.
Well, I'll just say I like your guitar tone. Always did. After I discovered you,
Thank
and
you.
incredible album covers. You have interesting album covers throughout the years. What's the concept behind taking, like, let's say There's the Rub album cover?
Right. Well, we come from the era where LP records, when you bought out an LP record, long player, it was a big event, and an album, in its truest sense, was an album, like a photographic album, a memory of that particular point in time. And the old LPs were very much like that. You have a lot of information in there. You didn't, the covers were carefully thought about, the way that you wanted to project your image, your music, had to stay as much in some ways as the music itself. And we were fortunate because we employed a company called Hypnosis from London back in the day, who were probably one of the top, they became one of the top designers, most noted designers of album sleeves. Certainly some of our covers have won awards, and they went on to work with people like Led Zeppelin, Paul McCartney, Pink Floyd specifically. Their approach to doing album sleeves was always almost like cinematographic, really. I mean, they like to really create a mood with the covers, and of course with the LP covers, there was a bigger medium, 12 inches square. You could really work on that, But even these days, with our CD covers, we're very careful. We want to give people a lot of information. We want something that feels really like a record, something pleasurable they can pick up time and time again and feel good about, So, the album There's the Rub that you mentioned, that is actually a phrase from Shakespeare, but we juiced it up a little bit by juxtaposing that with an image from cricketing, where if you're a fast bowler in the game of cricket, you take a cricket ball, which has a kind of red resin on the leather, and that the cricket player will always rub that in his crutch. So basically, the idea of that cover was a very graphic photograph of a cricket player from the waist down with this cricket ball. It was really actually a kind of tongue-in-cheek nod towards the stone sticky fingers, which was ours was a cleaner version, if you like, of that kind of concept, Because album covers, they run in fashions, there are fashions. You can see a whole slew of certain themes that run through different bands, where suddenly somebody became fixated on one part of the body or whatever,
Yeah.
And or took something from design like old 1950s fruit packaging or something like that. And, I think the Allman Brothers did that. So in fact, there are fashions and fads in the design and so forth of these albums. So that was where that one actually came from. That's what we were thinking about when we produced that cover. But we'd always brainstorm very heavily over album covers and throw the ideas backwards and forwards, and they're almost like therapy sessions, really. Just the designers would come and say, "Well, what are we trying to convey with the music?" And they tell us what they saw, how they saw things, and so it's massively important. Marketing, really.
Because front page news as well is an interesting cover, when you look at it too.
Yeah, it's a great cover. I mean, we were recording a lot down in Miami there, and we wanted it to look like an old movie poster, really, just really depicting some of the ideas and themes in the songs graphically, the way they would do in these classic old kitsch movie posters. So I think that front page news has got that about it.
How's the lifestyle in touring these days?
Well, it's pretty sedate, really. We're only talking about it this morning. I mean, we don't do too much drugging and drinking these days. We're older. We enjoy. We wake up. We smell the roses. We enjoy the traveling. We're more into gourmet food and wine these days, and just getting plenty of sleep. So it's pretty grueling the schedules that we're on. So we're careful. We tour carefully. Keep ourselves healthy. Wherever possible. That's what we're doing. I mean, it's not like in the old days where we were really pushing the envelope with all that stuff.
And also, you guys coming to Canada soon in March.
Indeed, yeah. We're looking forward to that. Yeah.
It's not every day you come to Canada in general.
No, we don't. It's not always there on the schedule, but we try. But this time we've succeeded. We're playing Edmonton and Vancouver.
Because the Canadian fans do need a little taste of Wishbone Ash every now and then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a good rock crowd up there in Canada, and we love to come more. But of course, touring the country is difficult. The distances are massive.
The future of guitar playing, for young musicians learning now, because now they got YouTube to learn, their guitar licks and stuff. Or how would you see it going in 50 years from now?
Yeah, it's really changed. I mean, there's some phenomenal players that they really don't even see the light of day outside their bedroom. You can see them on YouTube. And as you say, it's become, music's become like a lot of other things in life. It's almost a private affair, Sometimes people reach amazing standards on their own, but they don't have much experience. It's kind of a solitary thing, isn't it? They don't have the experience of playing out with other people. And when we were growing up, we were playing in neighborhood bands. Many, before we turned professional, most of us were playing in lots of different bands as kids, and you were free to roam around. And maybe that's not going on quite as much these days, So I don't really know. It's strange. It's as I say, it's more of a sort of, in some cases, a solitary. A lot of it is about attitude and what you can project, and I don't really have too much to say about it. Although I do know the differences in the way that younger people kind of get music and learn it. It's because as you say, if you just go on YouTube and pick up tips, and if you really want to study something, you can go to the nth degree just by going on the internet.
Because in a lot of the people in your days, you'd be rewinding records, and stuff like that, turning them around.
Yeah, we'd run a record over and over until the grooves wore out, That's how we learn, by emulating other people. So it's the same kind of thing, really. It's just there's far more available to younger players now.
But also in your method, you'd be playing that note way more, and putting a lot more time into it and mastering it more.
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. I mean, perhaps there was a bit more of a mystique to it all in those days. There's a bit more of a mystery, which made it a little bit more special, perhaps. I don't know.
Well, Andy, real pleasure talking to you and asking these questions, in regards to Wishbone Ash and your career. And keep up the great work. And when's the next album coming out, you figure?
It's really nice of you to say so. Thanks. Well, we'll probably be writing and doing some recording this summer. As to when another album will come out, just as soon as we possibly can do it. We have to, plan things in line with the touring, But generally, the summer kicks back a little bit more, and there's a bit more time to do that kind of thing, So maybe 2014 or even the end of 2013 would be great.
That would be great to hear your next work as a guitarist.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. Did you like the last album?
Yes, I like it. That's one thing I was saying earlier. It's like your tone is still incredible, and whatever you're coming out with is still fresh.
That's real nice of you to say. We appreciate it. Thanks.
You're very welcome, and I'm a guitar player as well. That's why I look into this stuff and think it's
thought
very
you might
good.
Be, yeah.
Of course. All right. Well, Andy, you have a great tour.
Thanks for the interview.
All right.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.